Raiders get another meaningless win, and I don't know if it's the hiccups in me or what, but this feels like another hiccup for this organization. You take in one step forward with the Giants getting a win today. The Raiders could have had another opportunity to be higher up in that draft class. You could have been higher up to get that number 1 overall pick, but instead, you get the hiccups like I do. You run into another meaningless win, and now after a season that looked like you could have had the number 1 overall pick, the Raiders right now might not even pick in the top 8. Hell, right now if the draft were to be today, you'd have the number 8 overall pick. And I think the Raiders now, there's a better chance that Aidan O'Connell is your quarterback next season, because I don't know how much money this team is going to spend on QB in the offseason. Max Crosby wants a brand new contract. Colton Miller's going to want a brand new contract. You're going to spend a lot of money to potentially bring back certain players that are going to be free agents that are going out there. I know that people think that this team has all the money in the world in salary cap, but if you're in a situation where you got to pay a quarterback, and you might be in a situation where you have to pay a quarterback, your money goes down, down, down. If there is a glass half full, here's the thing. We got to show some love to Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is an absolute real one. 7 catches for 77 yards today. No touchdowns. He had 7 targets. He broke the Raiders single season reception record, which now he's got 108 grabs, broke Darren Waller's record of 107, broke the single season receiving yards record by a tight end as a rookie. He's now passed Mike Ditka's record, which was held since 1961. On top of that, he broke the single receiving yard record by a rookie receptions. That was held by Puka Nacua. Brock Bowers broke so many records this season, and here's the thing. You got to try to build around him in the best way possible. You still got to try to figure out a way to bring in a quarterback, but I'm going to show Brock Bowers some love today because, damn it, that guy deserves it. He is an absolute stud. He is the real deal, and I'm telling you, I want everybody to spam 89 down below because win, lose, I do feel like that we got to win today because Bowers is on our side. We just got to get some more pieces to be able to figure it out to go out and get him. The reason why I think it's a meaningless win, whether you wanted the Raiders to draft a quarterback or not, the higher draft pick you would have had, you could have given yourself more ability to be able to build around whatever you wanted. But no, you keep on running in to meaningless wins. And I mean, here's the thing. Like, I said it a few weeks ago that the Raiders should rest Aidan O'Connell because I was fearing that we were going to run into some of these meaningless wins. And Desmond Ridder might have still won this game because of how bad the Saints played and how bad Spencer Rattler is from top to bottom. But, like, if you're going to be somebody that's celebrating, like, oh, Aidan should be back next season because the Raiders just won back-to-back games, I mean, look at the teams that the Raiders beat. You beat a despicable Saints team, and you beat a terrible Jacksonville Jaguars team. I mean, it was bad. Though, I do got to give Aidan his flowers. There were times in this game where he made some unbelievable throws, like dropping the ball into the bucket of Jacoby Myers on 3rd down and 5 to extend a drive, which led to a touchdown. That was great. And, you know, he made a lot of really good throws today. I mean, Aidan showed you that he might be able to be a bottom fringe starting quarterback in the NFL. My point always is, though, why settle for fine? If Aidan's your starter next season, you're hoping for 7, maybe 8, maybe 9 wins. And I made a video on Saturday saying every win that the Raiders run into, there's a better chance that Aidan could be your starter. But the other player that deserves a lot of flowers in this game is Ameer Abdullah. And Abdullah was unbelievable. I mean, first career ever, 100-yard rushing game of his entire career. Had 115 yards, did leave the game early with an injury. Don't know exactly what it is. He was unable to be able to return in this one, but, I mean, he was incredible. He was slippery, and he looked like if Josh Jacobs had the number 8 jersey on again, wearing dreads. I mean, this was the best game I've ever seen Ameer Abdullah play. He had over 140 total yards of offense, catching the ball, running the ball. Very, very impressive day for Ameer Abdullah. We're going to get into some questions and some instant reaction from the nation here in just a moment, but today's show is sponsored by Z-Biotics. Let's face it, after a night or a game day with drinks, I don't bounce back the next day like I used to. I have to make a choice. I can either have a great night or a great next day. That is until I found Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol. Pre-Alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to drink this probiotic before drinking alcohol. Drink responsibly and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. From Thanksgiving feast to New Year's Eve celebrations, this holiday season is packed with events, but don't let the festivities leave you feeling less than merry. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic can help you savor the night and seize the next day. So stay in the loop. Go to zbiotics.com/chatsports. You can also scan the QR code on the screen right now to get 15% off your first order when you use Chat Sports at checkout. You can also sign up for a subscription using my code so you can stay prepared no matter the time or occasion. ZBiotics is backed with 100% money back guaranteed, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund you your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use the code chatsports at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, ZBiotics, for sponsoring this episode and all the good times here at the Raiders Report. So first one's coming in here from George. Man, you guys are too depressed. Football should be fun. Football should be fun. And I hate that I'm depressed after a Raiders win. And I hate how sad I am after, waking up on a Raiders game day. Today was the worst Raiders game day experience I've had in quite some time. I knew when I woke up, I was like, the nation's going to be a little bit down. They're not going to be excited. I do got to give a shout out to Sam On and Venthrak. They were absolutely wilding out tonight, but this game sucked. Next week, when you play the Chargers, I'm probably going to root for the Raiders to beat the Chargers at this point. End the season on a high note. I don't really know what to root for. Christopher, trade with Pats for number 1. How much would that cost? I mean, I would say right now for the Raiders, who are pick number 8, to trade up to number 1, you're giving up your pick number 8. You're giving up a first-round pick next season. You're probably giving up a second and a third as well this season. And then you probably have to give up a player of Max Crosby's caliber, which I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people out there, but if you're the Raiders, you're going to consider trading Max because he's going to want a brand new contract at $35 million plus. And after his comments the other day, but that's how much it's going to cost. You know what I mean? The Raiders aren't going to trade Max 3 picks this season and a first-round pick next season to go up and get Shador or Cam Ward. I don't think that they're going to do that. At least I hope not. Donald, draft Genty, get Dart in the second. It's simple. Simply, that's one of the worst ideas I have ever heard. If the Raiders did that, I would legitimately consider stop doing this show. Malachi, Dylan or we can get a quarterback, other holes to fill. There are other holes that need to be filled, but Jackson Dart has got a 0% chance of being a good quarterback in the NFL. And Dylan Gabriel, I would say you're going to be targeting him in the 3rd or 4th round, but you're not going to start him right away. If it's Dylan Gabriel as the QB of the Raiders draft, welcome to Aidan O'Connell starting next season. Yoder, I'd rather have AP as head coach than Jim Harbaugh. Anonymous, Mitchell Renz, anonymous, Michael Scott. I don't know if I ever said those words exactly, but I did say that the Raiders with Antonio Pierce compared to Jim Harbaugh, they gave it a shot. It was a big old swing and a miss. I think this season proved that. I think Jim Harbaugh with this Raiders team, I don't think that they're a playoff caliber team, but I also don't think Jim Harbaugh goes out and hires Luke Getsy. Antonio Pierce hired Luke Getsy. Brooklyn, Raiders worst organization in the NFL. Hate this team. Now saying drafting Genty and Milroe. I know people want the Raiders to draft Genty, and I think it's because the Raiders let Josh Jacobs go. But again, I think drafting Genty is not a smart decision for the Raiders. Not because Genty isn't amazing. He is amazing. It's just because you're so many holes away from being able to draft a running back. Let's go to Don. Fields and Genty do get me a little... I say if you do plan on drafting Genty, the person that I do think that pairs best with him is a Justin Fields, and I say that because then you're going to be a run-first team. But based on things that I've been told, I just don't know if Tom Brady wants a quarterback like Justin Fields, right? I don't know. If they don't like Jalen Milroe, and if they want a quarterback that they believe can be more of a pocket passer, it could change. This offseason is going to be interesting. That's all I know. I saw somebody said, go get Carson Beck. You don't want Carson Beck. I'd rather have Aidan O'Connell at quarterback than Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck stinks. I really do. Do I think Beck might have a higher ceiling than Aidan? Sure, but I think what I know Aidan is compared to what I think Carson Beck's going to be. I'd rather you just stick with Aidan O'Connell. So who should start at quarterback in 2025 for the Las Vegas Raiders? Let me know down below who you think it's going to end up being. I would say right now, if I was a betting man, the person that's most likely to start at quarterback for the Silver and Black next season, his name is Aidan O'Connell. I really do. I'm not saying that that's going to be the starter, but I would say the person that has the best chance to start for the Raiders next season after 2 meaningless wins is Aidan O'Connell. Thugador, I don't understand all of this for nothing. Again, I think sometimes people just got to realize what's the best thing to do in the future, and I think insecure organizations can't say, an insecure organization thinks that winning a game in Week 16 and Week 17 is better for them long-term than losing out and have a chance at the number 1 pick. What up, Snorlax? Because you play to win the game. I know you play to win the game. That's why I don't blame any Raiders coaches. That's why I don't blame any Raiders players for going out there and doing their job. You can't blame any player or coach for doing their job, but you can blame an organization for not being able to figure out what's best for them in the long haul. And they didn't do it. Though, then again, the Giants ended up winning today, so it is what it is. Meaningless win can cost you Nick Bosa for Cleveland Ferrell. Yeah? You're not wrong. Which I always think it's funny. Too many people are like, oh, well, we got Jamarcus when we had the number 1 pick. Let's also bring up all these other instances where if we would have had a better pick, you could have gone out and gotten a better player. Memory lane. It's time for a draft lottery in the NFL. I don't know if I want a draft lottery as much as, and this is what Chugs and I have been debating about. How awesome would this be? The worst 4 teams in the NFL. They play in a playoff. You got to win 2 games to get the number 1 overall pick. Love it. George, show a decent OC could have made a difference coaching over talent. And you still need to have a talented team, right? Like, you still need to have if you could give Luke Getsy Patrick Mahomes, and I think that they're still going to win football games because they have Patrick Mahomes, but you do need to have a good offensive coordinator. It's just no good OC and no good head coach are going to want to say, I want to come play for the Raiders when Aidan O'Connell's my quarterback. Like, that's my point of, like, who's going to take on that job? Not somebody that I think that you want to take on that job. Thugador, this is when we decide to pass the 50-yard line. Season reference. Oh, dude, I've been making this reference all day. That the last time that the Raiders played down in New Orleans, they failed to cross the 50. OG! What's up, my man? Bring back Merrick and Hobbs next year. And if we do get to pick 9, we can't trade up. Who do we draft at that spot? I think if you're at pick 9, you go best player available. The way Telesco was able to hit on some players last year, and Brock Bowers, JPJ, you went best player available. And I think the Raiders are going to be in that situation where they, too, will go best player available. For bringing back Merrick and Hobbs, I don't know if they're going to bring back Hobbs because of all of his injury concerns. I would be more on board to bring back Merrick because also Marcus Epps is the free agent. You have Merrick, you have him back there with Isaiah Paul-Mao. That's how I would spend my money. If you want videos every single day around the Las Vegas Raiders, I promise you this, man. We got you covered. Hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and make sure you pull up on Tuesday. We're going to be going live at 1 p.m. Eastern Time this Tuesday for the final live show of 2024.